One of the strangest pay-per-views in a while. WWE finally went back to Australia and actually had a televised show. This was the first time in 5 years that WWE did a show there. Viewers in the US, depending on the time zone, watched the show at 2 a.m. or 5 a.m. It was weird. Personally, I wasn't bothered with the show to stay up watching it because number one, it was predictable, and number two, it wasn't worth it. So that's why it took me a while to actually upload the video. I had to watch the event later on. They had 4 matches on the show and even then had about an hour where there wasn't a single match on. I find it unfortunate that WWE didn't take advantage of a stadium show, but it's pretty understandable because you don't want wrestlers to risk injury this close to WrestleMania. The show had a big UFC vibe with Rhea Ripley being the homecoming hero main eventing. It's clear that WWE is implementing a lot from UFC, such as showing the wrestlers coming in. But with that said, let's get into it. Before the show started, the Kabuki Warriors, Kairi Sane and Asuka defended the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships against Indi Hartwell and Candice LeRae. So Indi Hartwell finally got a chance to wrestle in her home country on a televised event, which is always nice. I didn't realize this match was even on the card until today, because I didn't watch the show. I only watched the beginning of it. I didn't realize it. It was a decent match. Nice to see Candice LeRae and Indi Hartwell being featured often, because it's always good to see new faces around. Asuka and Kairi retained, obviously. They're the ones that are being positioned well at the moment. But unfortunately, even though this match is good, I just can't get over the fact that the Women's Tag Team Championships have been a failure during their entire run. I hope things change, though. Hopefully it does, because Asuka and Kairi Sane are very talented. They are most definitely capable of turning things around if they can let them have these type of matches more often. So I hope it continues. The first match is the Women's Elimination Chamber match. The winner gets to face the Women's World Champion at WrestleMania. Bianca Belair, Raquel Rodriguez, Tiffany Stratton, Liv Morgan, Naomi, and Becky Lynch faced off. This match wasn't bad. I don't think anyone expected it to be. It was great. Tiffany Stratton was the highlight of the match, and WWE showed that they got a lot invested in her and Liv Morgan. Stratton in particular was world class. She eliminated Naomi. Raquel was the wrecking ball of the match, throwing people around. Stratton off the top of the senton. It's one of those annoying spots, but she looked amazing in the air. The action was much better than last year's women's match. I thought it felt more important, more prestigious here, as opposed to how Asuka was one of the only big talent in the match last year. Liv actually shockingly eliminated Bianca Belair before Becky took advantage to win the match. Everyone knew Becky was winning, and the story between her and Rhea Ripley has been teased for a while. I know Liv Morgan has an issue with her in storyline too, but WrestleMania 40 is about continuing to establish Rhea Ripley. I don't like her title reign. I'm gonna say it right now. I don't like her title reign. It's not been good because it's been filled with dry rivals. It's just in Rhea's case, she's grown more as a talent and as a character. But similar to Bianca at WrestleMania 38, this is about making her a bigger star. I'll be shocked if Becky wins at WrestleMania. It doesn't seem likely. The next match is the Undisputed Tag Team Championships. The Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Damian Priest faced Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. The duo were reunited. Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne represent a type of wrestling that Vince didn't enjoy. Otherwise, it would have allowed for Pete Dunne to come in as he was from NXT. They were finally given the chance to show what they were capable of recently, and it's strange how a duo who complement each other so well were kept away from each other. With regards to this match, very good. The Judgment Day usually dominate TV time, so people somewhat overlook their matches because they come and go. But Balor and Priest have a strong reign from an in-ring standpoint. There's some moments during the match, but it doesn't take away from both teams' performance. The heels retain the titles with Balor scoring the victory. Where do they go from here? Most likely Awesome Truth, which kind of seems random, because R-Truth was literally a comedy character, and he's most likely going to win the tag team titles with The Miz at WrestleMania. Grayson Waller hosted the Grayson Waller Effect, with his guest being Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. Grayson was back home and was still as offensive as he was. Cody said he wanted The Rock and insulted him for not being the People's Champion. He wanted the Gray One in a match. Rollins, though, thought that they should face the Bloodline in a tag team match. Austin Theory gets involved and takes a beating. Grayson didn't look like a joke in his home country and preferred to stay away from Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. Now, with regards to Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins teaming up to face the Bloodline makes sense because they want to make the most out of the story. It's most likely going to main event night 1, which is unfortunate for Bayley. And another thing to mention is that a lot of people believe that Rollins is going to turn heel. I personally hope that doesn't happen because it's one of those swerves. It could help Cody's story a little more, which I personally think is unnecessary though. If Rollins turns heel, it could be later on. They don't need to do it on WrestleMania Night 1. The next match is the Men's Elimination Chamber match. Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley, Logan Paul, Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, and LA Knight faced off. The winner faces Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. KO out here about to launch through that pod, maybe because his 2K24 rating is lower than Logan Paul's. This match was again similar to the women's match. The star power was an improvement. The action wasn't really. I loved last year's match a lot and thought that the wrestlers had a lot of hunger. Here, there was some cool moments though, it was a good match. Lashley spearing Logan Paul through the pod, Kevin Owens giving him a beating, and AJ Styles interfering to cost LA Knight the match. This guy in storyline traveled about 19 hours to ruin his match. Like, that's the biggest kind of hater there is. LA Knight looked very strong out there and almost eliminated Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. Logan Paul had a great performance too, and I really like the fact that I see him as a WWE wrestler now as opposed to being a social media star. He's done well for himself and understands how to be a heel. Randy Orton's selling was tremendous. It was a masterful selling from the Viper, especially during the end of the match where Logan Paul, who took an RKO, best moment of the match, came in and dropped him with some brass knuckles. He just went down and looked like he was knocked out cold. This sets up a potential match between Logan Paul and Orton. Drew McIntyre winning was obvious, but it really makes sense. His new heel character is petty and full of bitterness, and he's the most interesting character on Raw. What helps Drew's case is that he has reasons to be mad. He's not just some angry heel. He's funny at the same time with his pettiness, and it's his time to shine. Drew McIntyre has a great chance of winning the title at WrestleMania. I wouldn't be shocked if they actually have him finish his own story. And the main event, Rhea Ripley defends the Women's World Championship against Nia Jax. Rhea was back in her homeland, and that crowd was all in. Nia, since returning, has shockingly had a lot of support. I've seen a lot of people talk about how she's much better than in the past, and this match was her dominating for a long time and getting a lot of offense in. It was a basic story with the big woman dominating, overpowering the champion, and Rhea got to play the babyface for once. She's most likely not going to be a heel by the end of the year. She's not been with the Judgment Day a lot recently. But with regards to the match, it was good. It was a good story, you know. Nia Jax actually overperformed in my opinion. She's done well here. It wasn't a big main event, obviously, but they did as much as they could with Nia Jax as the challenger. That's what I'm trying to say. Rhea's family was in attendance watching. The crowd was behind her. And even though it looked like she was going to get knocked down, she comes back in, makes this big comeback, drops Nia Jax to retain the title. Good match. I mean, when you have the home country hero wrestling on the show, you gotta have the main event, and it made sense, you know, because at the end of the day, Elimination Chamber, even though it was in a stadium, it was never supposed to be a huge deal, which I think is a bit unfortunate, but I understand why. Good match, though. Rhea Ripley gets to face Becky Lynch at WrestleMania 40. She got to stand tall in her home country, which is definitely a nice moment, something that very few wrestlers outside of the US get to experience. Good stuff. Alright, that's Elimination Chamber. This event was decent. There's a lot of problems, though. For one, there's so many ads during the show. It's like, oh, what are you talking about? Like, bro, this is a pay-per-view out here. They're giving us ads like it's Monday Night Raw almost. I'm over-exaggerating. It wasn't to that point. What I'm trying to say is after every match, there's ads, promotions and stuff, and they drag the show on. You know, without ads, this show would be 2 hours probably. There was one point where there was almost an hour without a single match, which is funny to me because this is a pay-per-view, but it is what it is. Other than that, the matches were decent. You don't expect WWE to have their wrestlers go all out before WrestleMania. Having them wrestle in the Elimination Chamber is a risk in itself. Match of the night for me is probably the men's Elimination Chamber match. I had fun watching that one. Women's Elimination Chamber match was a bit better, I'd say. But I really like the men's one. Orton was out there putting on quite the performance. Kevin Owens looked intense. Bobby Lashley. All those wrestlers worked hard. Everyone looked good. And even for the women's match, everyone had their moments to shine. It was some good stuff. Other than that, yeah, decent show. You know, it's not that good. You won't miss much if you don't watch it. You know, none of these matches are like, oh my god, this is out of this world. I wouldn't say that, no. But it's a quick show if you skip through it. Decent stuff, so yeah. Alright, what you guys think of Elimination Chamber? Please comment down below. That's it for this video. Make sure you hit the RKO on the like button and perhaps the Claymore on the subscribe button. Peace. I'm out.